What's up, everybody? This is Scratch, and I got a video here for you. We are going to take a look at the Check Out Xbox Game Pass video that I did earlier. This is going to be a Q&A session based on the comments from that video, so if you haven't seen that, you're definitely going to want to check that out right here. That was done through the power of editing. You can actually click that. It's pretty cool. And probably should have something behind me, so I'll put the music on and the games there. Also through the power of editing, and then we'll get into it and we'll talk about it. So basically, I wanted to have this open dialogue with you guys and kind of talk about it because I like to sit around and talk with my friends about it, but I don't get to do that on YouTube. I do get to do it when I'm streaming. So this is a way I think that we can make a little bit more of a connection. That'll be kind of fun. So if you don't hang out in my streams and talk to this stuff, talk about this stuff with me, we can do it here like this, and maybe it'll be kind of cool. We'll see how it works out. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to go through this. I'm going to pick out a couple of statements or comments or whatever. I'm going to comment on them with my own opinions, with your opinions, and we'll just have fun. So let's get started. Okay, so to start it off, John Elliott says, I think $120 for the year is too much, especially for the bulk of titles that are quite old. This is great for new owners, though. Now he made that comment. I think he was one of the first comments, and it's a comment that I personally agree with. I agreed with it absolutely completely when we started, because my friend Ace Attorney, he posted how many of these games have you not played, which for me, from the ones that I've seen announced or seen in the ticker there or whatever in the advertisement and that sort of thing, and then what's in preview, I have played quite a few of them. And then the ones that I haven't played, I don't know how many of them I would play. But to his point about for new owners, there are plenty of people out there who don't play every brand new game that comes out. They don't get a chance to see, there are people out there who've never played Halo 5. There's people who've never played a Halo game or never played a Gears of War game. Now they have access to, they seemingly could have access to like the whole series probably. Because I'm assuming the first party titles are probably going to get a little bit better treatment in this because it's just easier to negotiate, obviously, because they own them. But so for new Xbox owners or just people who can't afford a lot of games or whatever, this is a way to sort of offset that. So I think that that's a valid point. But there's a few points that people made that had me thinking about it and had me thinking outside the box a little bit. So let's jump to those. So DJ Singh responded to that and said, everybody will probably buy it for a month, probably, which I think that was probably too. Probably people are going to be curious to try it or check it out or just see what it is. But Badass Soldier, right here, brought up a good point. He said, I think it's a pretty cool option if you're an achievement hunter because you can download and play as many games as you want for a very low price. And then, of course, especially if you're new an Xbox owner. So that goes back to that new Xbox owner thing. But I think that's a really, really good point. It's a pretty cool option if you're an achievement hunter because nothing says that you have to subscribe to this service indefinitely. So, drop $20, play as many games as you can, in the 3 or 4 months or whatever that you have it, catch up on all those achievements, and then you could drop it when you catch up on everything that you want to play, and it's probably still going to be worth it. I think that's a pretty interesting way to look at it, and I do believe that a lot of people will probably take advantage of that, myself included. Mario Zacconi says the same thing. I saw Mad Max in the advert, and I haven't played that game, and it would be worth it for $10 a month. Possibly possibly other games need to see what's offered, and then anybody know if they're going to have a yearly subscription cost. So just to jump right to the question, I don't know if they're going to have a yearly subscription cost outside of the $9.99. I'm assuming you're asking a yearly subscription cost, meaning is it going to be cheaper if I just bought a year, which is the same, which is true for Gold and EA Access and those things. And as far as I'm aware, that none of that has been announced, but of course I'm certain it's on the table, and I think it's something that a lot of people will want. But to your Mad Max point, I think that's a pretty good assessment as well, because you probably can't pick up Mad Max for $10, and even if you did, you'd probably only play it for a month, and then you would never pick it up again. So even if you paid it and only played 2 games, it's still probably a pretty good deal. Okay, and One of Us Gaming Group brought up some pretty cool points and a few things that I just want to clear up to make sure that everybody understands how this will work. He says, so far most games have been shown have been games with Gold. Also, $120 a year previously mentioned is too much on top of Gold because I've seen nowhere that Gold is included, and the amount of games is irrelevant because you're not going to play 100 games a month. It's a great scheme for newcomers, but not so much, in his opinion, for seasoned gamers. So there goes that point again, which is a point that I made as well. And then it also says, reading more into it, they don't state how many games are available at once, and that games will be rotated, and once it's removed, you can't play it even if you download it. So it's effectively a timed rental service, and I'd rather continue paying $10 a month for Boomerang games, which I believe is like a service like GameFly, where you just pay so much a month, and then you just send in a game, and then they send you a game and rent it back and forth, or whatever. So those are pretty good points. There's a few things. We'll just kind of dissect this a little bit. So I'm going to jump in and first and say, they don't state how many games that you are able to play at once, or it isn't maybe completely clear, but I will tell you that it is over 100 games. When it launches, there will be over 100 games. So you will put the 999 down, and then that will unlock the ability to download 100 games. So if you wanted to download all 100 games and then play each one of them in the month, which I agree would be impossible, but you could do that. So it is available there. As far as the games being rotated, I think I've seen a lot of people discussing this, and I think that the general consensus or assumption is that it's as if Microsoft is making these decisions to rotate these in and out, where they're like, okay, here's a pool of 100 games. Let's give them these 5 this month, and then next month they get a new 5. And it's basically like a beefier extra version of like Games with Gold or something, but that's not the case. Basically, I would liken it to, we've already seen this model with Netflix. So Netflix does this now with all of their titles that they have, movies and videos and TV shows and things to watch, is because of licensing. So like Netflix doesn't make the documentaries like Discovery Channel does. And then Netflix and Discovery Channel, they have a discussion about what content should be on the service and what isn't. That's why you don't see brand new episodes of The Walking Dead on Netflix, because AMC has the rights to that. So AMC has their own service if you want to get those on demand. And if you don't care about the newest ones and you just want something to watch, then you can watch Walking Dead or catch up on the whole series and then cancel Netflix and then get the AMC one and finish watching it or catching up and then start watching it on TV if you wanted to do that. So a lot of that stuff has to do with licensing agreements, and to me, I think it kind of even opens the door for new games. So if you look at Games with Gold, we have like So Many Me, Volgar. There's a bunch of them. These games, iDarb was a good one, and basically these games launched free with Games with Gold, and they were never available for sale. If you got them with Games with Gold, you could just download them right away from day one, and that's because Microsoft makes a deal with the publisher to say, hey, we would feature, and so they, I don't know the details of any of these, but I know because you see on the publisher websites, they have talked about this on the blog, so I assume this is kind of how things work with the other ones, is that they make these deals and they say, like we'll pay so much money for you to basically not sell your game. So basically Microsoft buys it from them and then gives it away for a while, and then it goes for sale, later. So we could see games come to this service, especially in the ID at Xbox space, or maybe even with Play Anywhere, that would add value to it, because they're games that no one is going to have, and you could either buy it for $8 or $9, or you can get it in the service and have access to all the other games. And so it could be a way to get gamers to come into it. So there's plenty of negotiation and stuff that goes on with that sort of stuff. But as far as the rotation is concerned, I'm not saying Microsoft won't make decisions to drop games or not have them or whatever, but for the most part, Microsoft wants you to have as many games as possible. It just kind of falls under the negotiations between them and the publishers and the developers. But so far, if you read through the news.xbox.com articles that's up about this, quite a few developers have signed on and agreed to do this. So that's pretty cool. So just wanted to kind of clear that up a little bit. And let you know that, if it was up to Microsoft, they'd have all the games and they could stay there as long as they wanted to, but it's not completely up to them. It's the same reason that HD remakes don't just come back, because we love it. You know, somebody owns it, and if they don't want to do it, then it doesn't get done. So McFish says, and I agree with this as well. For me, this is great as I enjoy going for achievements and getting gamer score, and for only $9.99 a month, seems like a no-brainer to me. Only one thing I would say could be improved is the price. For example, if someone has an active Xbox Live Gold membership, there should be a discount or an increased price to the Xbox Live Gold membership, and have the Xbox Game Pass included. But either way, it gets the upvote from me. So I personally kind of agree with this. I'd like to see Microsoft bundle some of these services together, like Groove, because Groove you can use, in Forza Horizon. So it has a little bit of a game component there. The Xbox Live Gold membership included with Game Pass, maybe include EA Access in that as well, and like bump it up to like $100 or something. I would love to see them do this. Now, the first thing a lot of people are going to say is, well, don't do that because I don't want it, so I don't want to have to pay the extra a month for it. But what I would say is that Gold is supposed to be like $60 a year. I've been an Xbox gamer since you were able to be one. And I don't think, except for the first couple of years, I've probably never paid full price for Gold. I've either gotten it through giveaways, for free, from that sort of stuff, through various things, which the Xbox Ambassadors program has opportunities to get it for free. People have giveaways for Gold all the time. Gold is a common thing to give away, not real gold, but Xbox Live Gold is a common thing for startup blogs to give away, because it's something that they can digitally hand out, that they can go to the store and buy a code and give it to you. So there's all kinds of ways to get Gold for free. So, that's a good thing. Like if that was included, because you never really you shouldn't be paying the full price for Gold. There's just so much opportunity out there to get it at a discount. If this stuff was included, you'd just be getting more, even though the retail, would be $70 or $75, but you could probably pick it up much cheaper than that. Amazon.com has sales on it all the time. You can get it for like $40. eBay, there are legitimate places on eBay that allow you to buy discounted Gold, where they don't make as much money from it. So having it included, if they said they were going to do that, I don't think I would cringe at it right away for that reason. Pat Cregan says, I saw almost all Xbox 360 games, and I would personally want to play more of the newer games, which is a good point. Right now in the preview, in my previous video, it did show a lot of 360 games. The full list will probably have a lot as well, but if you look in the advertisement, there's a lot of newer games, like for example, Halo 5 isn't that old. The Gears of War Ultimate Edition is still pretty new. That's the remaster from the original Gears, which those games are going to be worth it, I think, for some people. But again, it does go back to the fact that newer people are going to probably benefit the most. I would say newer people are going to benefit the most out of a long-term subscription, but everybody's probably going to benefit in some way or another. And next we have DJ Singe. Sorry, I probably totally butchered that. You can correct me though. But this basically puts PlayStation Now in the grave. As an achievement hunter, it's fucking awesome for me. And they also said new games will be rotating every month. So if you don't have Xbox Live Gold, it will still work. My E3 hype and Microsoft has begun. By the way, good video, Scratch. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think this is true. I mean, I don't know that it puts PlayStation Now in the grave, but it could cause them to rethink it. And I think that's what's awesome about this and giving gamers a choice, is because it's going to force Sony to probably answer it or do something. Whether they will right away or not is going to depend on how well this does and how many people pay attention to it, as to whether or not they have to. But I don't know that they're completely worried about it in terms of having to change right now. Like, I don't know that they're scrambling, but they're definitely going to be on their radar, and it's definitely something that they're going to be paying attention to. Nintendo as well. Like, Nintendo should have been leading the charge on this. Like, nobody has a more amazing game library, and they own so much. that they can do with it. They've got a lock on all of their software. They've done that from the very beginning. I think it's why they're still in business, to be honest with you. They should have been leading the charge on this and should have been doing this a long time ago. But basically, just to your point, this is definitely going to turn the heat up a little bit and hold their feet to the fire a little bit, as so to speak, depending on how this takes off. I almost want to subscribe to it just to help get the numbers up a little bit to see how people are going to answer it. And maybe we'll get some new cool stuff out of it, and it'll evolve. You know, competition is great. I love Sony, Nintendo, Xbox. I don't want any one of them to be on top. I love this neck and neck race because we get some really amazing stuff out of it as a gamer. That's my personal opinion. And then I'll finish off with GTA Gamer 97 says, well, I have a 250 gigabyte limit on my internet since I live in the country, pretty much, so a Game Pass would do nothing for me. And then Orion Minecraft said I would definitely use this if my ISP didn't have data caps. So can't argue with that. You have an ISP that has a data cap or a data cap. This is going to be kind of a pain because as cool as it would be to, you know, maybe take a hard drive over to a friend's house and download all the games and then bring them back over and then play them to get around your data cap, you could do that, I guess. But that's probably not going to be an option for a lot of people, and there's really just no other way around it than to do that. So unless you have a friend that has, like, you know, 100 meg connection on fiber or something like that that could download a whole bunch of games really quickly, probably not going to be for you. So it is unfortunate, but hopefully that sort of stuff goes away. Kind of back to what we were talking about, competition. You're seeing more and more mobile networks and stuff open up to have unlimited internet. I work for an ISP as well, and we don't put data caps on our stuff, and that's a huge advantage. Our competitors in our areas can't put data caps on their stuff. We're keeping data caps away by doing that. And it's easier to just sell more internet if you're looking for money because people want to buy more. They'll use more, especially if it's uncapped. So I'm holding out for you. Hopefully they change that, and you guys can take advantage of it, but that really does suck. So I guess with that being said, you kind of know my opinion on it. That's kind of where I stand with it as well. I kind of agree with all of you. It's going to be a real mixed bag of who this appeals to and who it doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see where this takes off, particularly in the, as DJ was talking about, in the competition realm of things, to see where this stuff goes. So I'm super excited to see this. I'm super excited to see the full list of games, to see how many it's going to be. They say over 100, so that could be, you know, is it close to 150? Is it close to 200? Will it ever be there? With Scorpio coming out, older games and stuff are just going to become more and more easy to license and get, and this could really take off in a couple of years. I'm really excited to see where it's at. So thanks for watching. We'll do this again in the future. Sorry it was kind of a long video. I wanted to get everybody I could in here. I got most of you. Yeah, wicked good video, wicked good response. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.